So when did you join Twitter, and how come you joined?
I joined Twitter my junior year of high school, and I mainly joined because it was the newest thing, and then it was a good way to just to communicate.
And how would you say that Twitter has changed your life, for better or for worse?
For worse, it's taken over my life because I'll stay on Twitter, I'll stay on my timeline all night long. And then for good, I mean, I think it keeps me up to date with a lot of things that go on, something that may even go on campus or some new party or some, concert. That's something I wouldn't know if I didn't have my timeline. So it's something that it keeps me up to date with everything.
How has it, I guess, changed the way that you think you kind of relate with your teammates on a day-to-day basis?
I always tell my coaches that I would look at a tweet before I look at a text. So, I mean, we may tweet each other. I'll see that before I get to see a text message. So I'm always on my timeline, so it's definitely something that I always keep my eye on.
And how has Twitter changed the way you relate with your coaches?
Oh, it's a lot. We got to watch what we say. I mean, of course, we know we're in the public, so we have to watch what we say in general. I mean, of course, but especially with our coaches, we got to make sure. I mean, it's good that we can all communicate with each other, though, and everyone publicly can see it.
And do you ever get any feedback from your coaches on things that you've been tweeting about?
Yeah, I've had a couple of times where I've had to delete some stuff that they wouldn't say was quite appropriate or represented the Maryland program. But I mean, I know if it doesn't represent, sometimes you get carried away. You sometimes forget. And I know we are student athletes, but at the end of the day, we are students. At the same time, we are humans, so we do make mistakes. But it's good to have them to have us to correct our mistakes and help us.
How do you think it's changed the way that you can kind of relate with your fans of the Maryland basketball program?
I think it gives them a better look of who we are outside of the basketball court. I mean, that's mainly what everyone sees, and for them to be able to interact with us and we could be able to retweet them and then to talk to them, and it just makes it that much more fun, to see what they see and to be able to talk to people that this is what we do it for. They are six man, so to have them have our back and we could talk to them makes it that much more fun.
You feel like it creates kind of a bigger community of Maryland fans with the players?
Yeah, I mean, of course, I think that's what makes fans. I mean, I think the more interactive you are with the fans, the more fun it's going to be. Normally even from Twitter to Facebook to anything, I think the newest thing is Instagram. It's so easy for us to get them and get in contact with us and us to interact. And I think that's what makes it so much fun because, we're playing for each other, but also we're playing for the program in Maryland.
Have you gotten any feedback from fans? I mean, it's great to hear you say, as a fan myself, it's great to hear you say how much fun you guys take interacting with the fans. Have you gotten feedback from other fans who have been able to interact with you through social media?
Yeah, I mean, if I simply say good morning, I get a good morning or have a great day. I don't know who you are, but that may. The fact that someone took the time out the way just to send me one tweet to say, to start my day up, that says a lot about our fans and what they want to do with us. Sometimes it may get crazy, but I don't think I've never had any problems with any Maryland fans, and they support us, and I think they show that on Twitter.
And I saw during the season a lot, especially during the tournament, you would kind of tweet on game days telling people to watch and things like that. How do you think it kind of affected the fans' interest in the team when they can relate to you over social media? Do you feel like it gets people more involved?
Yeah, I think. We're trying to just get it out that we have games. Our fan base isn't as strong as we possibly would want it to be. So, the fact that we have a lot of relationships with a lot of students on Twitter can help them, understand, okay, we have a game today, and they may not even know it. So we kind of, try to post stuff and just makes everybody aware that when we have games and when to come out and support us and when we really need that six man.
And do you get any type of are there any sessions with the athletic department at the beginning of the season where they kind of tell you like what's okay and what's not okay to tweet?
Yeah, we have like compliance meetings where they just basically set out guidelines like don't do this, don't do that, kind of basic. But we have within ourselves, we have our own team rules. So we have team rules that we have to be off of Twitter by 12 o'clock. We have to watch what we say, and if we don't, they'll send us a little tweet. But if we're not off by 12, we'll have a consequence or something like that. But I think they're all good rules that keep us in line, to keep us focused.
There ever been any instances where, coming up before a game against another team where you kind of talk about things going on in the game, which I assume is kind of frowned upon?
What do you mean?
Like if you're playing an opponent and someone's injured and you maybe mention on Twitter that someone's injured.
We don't talk about We'll talk about the game. We won't talk. Actually, the only thing I've ever talked about in the game was probably when my shoe came off when we played Louisville. I talked about that, but there's more stuff like, did you see this happen? But it's never where we'll bash another team. That's not what we want. That's not what we want to represent ourselves because we want to be. We respect every opponent, but we do what we have to do in the court.
So I think you mentioned a little bit before about how Twitter has changed it for the worse, that you're constantly attached to it. How about for the better? I know you kind of been talking about it all the way through, but just kind of sum up how it's changed your life for the better and the Maryland program for the better.
Twitter for the better. I just think we make it more interactive with other people. I think that's what makes it so great is that we can just talk to the fans and they can talk to us and we can hear where they're coming from and what they like. And, it's good just to have, to hear their voices sometimes and have their support. I recently just suffered, my grandmother just passed away. And I posted on Twitter, and it was crazy the feedback that I got from the support of and mainly were a lot of Maryland fans. So it just helped to have their back, and they had to support me, and I'm just thankful to be a part of it.
I'm very sorry to hear about that. Did you hear from a lot of fans after you posted that?
I did, and that's what made. Thankfully, I had my coaches and my teammates to get me through it. But even have Maryland fans to hit me up and just say, send their condolences, it means the world to me.
Did it ever kind of hit you that community, I don't know how long ago you said junior year of high school, so 2 years ago, did it ever kind of hit you that community didn't exist really until 2 years ago?
What do you mean, like?
Like before you joined Twitter 2 years ago, you didn't have that community of 2,000 people following you online, but now you've got 2,000 people who are always kind of involved with your life.
Yeah, it was crazy because my junior year, that's when I was playing, and then my senior year I sat out, so everything, my Twitter base kind of went down, but once I started back up in freshman year, started getting back rolling. So I think it's crazy because I never thought I would have got to this point, but I think that's what makes it so much fun. That fact that we can interact, and I think that's what's good about Twitter is we have different medias, we could interact with different fans, and this is a perfect one just to talk to them and be able to retweet and talk to them and get to hear what they have to say.
Last question for you. Do you feel like it's a positive thing when people, because before Twitter, everyone kind of only saw you on the basketball court and in a press conference, but now people can kind of follow you throughout your day and see what's going on. Do you feel like that's been a good thing for college athletes?
Yeah, I think it's good that people get to see that we're not just, basketball players. At the end of the day, we do walk off this court, and so I think it's good to say, okay, after the game, I'm going out with my family, or before the game, I'm hanging out with my teammates, or we're all going to the mall, or, for example, we all said we're going up to Apley Rec Center. And we had a lot of people that came up there to watch. So I think that makes it so much more fun. So we wouldn't be able to do that if we didn't have Twitter. So that's mainly a lot of the positives that come out of having it.
I think I joined Twitter about I think the summer going into my senior year of high school. I decided to join because a lot of people are on Facebook, and I was going into college soon, so I thought it was time for a change.
And how has Twitter either positively, negatively, or both affected your life?
I think Twitter has had a positive effect on my life. I'm reconnecting with family as well as friends is a good way to keep in contact with fans as well.
And how has it kind of changed the way that you interact with your teammates on a day-to-day basis?
I think we use kind of Twitter as a good way to connect with each other and give each other jokes throughout the day, just to check on each other throughout the day.
And how about with your coaches?
Coaches as well. They send us a lot of quotes and just check up on us throughout the day with that too.
And have you ever gotten any feedback from your coaches on things that you've tweeted throughout the day or the season?
Yeah, I think it was early in the season. I think I went to get my nails done, so I seen Coach Chin later on in the office. He was like, "I like your nails," and stuff like that.
And how has it kind of affected your relationship with fans? How has it kind of changed the way that you can interact with the fans of the Maryland basketball program?
I think it's a better way of communicating with fans. They all obviously see us all on the court throughout the season. I think it's a good way for them to get to know us more personally.
And do you feel like the community of Maryland basketball fans with the players has kind of changed for the better just because they can get that more personal look at you?
Yeah, most definitely. Not only do basketball fans follow us on Twitter, but lacrosse fans, soccer fans, every sport follows us on Twitter.
Do you use it? Do you use Twitter during the season, kind of to try and drum up more interest in the games? I know that was one of the things that Brene was talking about.
Yeah, most definitely. We use Twitter, just to get people to support us throughout the season and to make sure we watch our games and just to post exciting pictures on Twitter throughout the season, throughout our games.
And I know Brene was also mentioning kind of team rules on things you can tweet and things you can't tweet. How does that kind of work in the preseason of kind of getting the rules under wraps as far as what you can put online and what you can't?
It's just giving us a lot of structure. We can't tweet after 12. We have to be careful what we say because we have a lot of people watching us, and you can't delete after you put something out there. So it's a positive thing.
And do you kind of feel like, just for the Maryland community as a whole, that even aside from the women's basketball program, but when you have all college athletes kind of online in a social media presence, that just kind of helps to build the brand of Maryland sports?
Yes, most definitely. We get to communicate with a lot of different people, as well as players in the ACC, just throughout the NCAA.